There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all Earth's beaches. What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. And today, we re-talking about space again. Because this is actually a follow-up to one of our previous videos that we did called How Many Planets Are in the Universe. And I feel like we got a lot of questions from that video. Like, what about moons? And also, we didn't talk about stars? So we're kind of going to be doing both of those things in this video. But let's start off with the stars. According to NASA, there could be between 100 and 400 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. We tend to use the number 100 billion for an estimate. Now, that might seem like a lot, but if you want to see how truly mind-bogglingly big that number is, I found this great example. It says that if you took all the stars in the night sky and laid them out in a line, it would stretch over 300 million kilometers or 186 million miles. That's far enough to reach from New York to San Francisco and then some. And yet, that's only just a tiny fraction of the Milky Way. The Milky Way is a disk or a flat pancake shape, roughly speaking, and it's 100,000 light years across. Yeah, you heard that right. 100,000 light years across. It takes light 100,000 years to travel across the galaxy. If something happens at one end, it takes 100,000 years for that information to get to the other side. And so, it's kind of like separate galaxies in a lot of ways. Okay, so that's the Milky Way, but there are also other galaxies, right? And we have no idea how many galaxies there are. Right now, we can only observe about 100 billion of them. That's 100 billion galaxies that we know of. In other words, astronomers have discovered about 100 billion galaxies. They think there could be twice that many, but they don't really know. There's this observable universe again, which is only 94 billion light years across. And so anything farther away than that, we can't currently see. We don't have the technology to do it. And so, when we're talking about the observable universe, we're talking about everything that we can see. Everything that we know of. Stars, galaxies, planets, black holes, everything! And that is a sphere. Not a cube or a box. A sphere with a radius of 46.5 billion light years. That's the observable universe! Everything outside of that. We have no idea what's going on. We don't know if there are more galaxies. We don't know if there are more stars. We have no idea. Okay? So now that we have a sense of how many stars are out there, let's turn our attention to the grains of sand on all Earth's beaches. According to a research paper written by a bunch of researchers at various universities, they say that there are about 7.5 quintillion grains of sand on all Earth's beaches. In fact, the number of stars in the observable universe, just the ones that we can see, is somewhere between 10 raised to the 24th power and 10 raised to the 25th power. Okay, let's go ahead and write that out. That's 10 trillion, 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 trillion. And that's just the stars in the observable universe. That doesn't include the rest of the universe that we can't see. And so, yeah, there are a lot of stars in the universe. And there are a lot of grains of sand on Earth's beaches. But how many moons are in the universe? Well, according to NASA, there could be as many as 50 billion moons in the Milky Way. That's 50 billion moons orbiting planets in our galaxy. Now, why is it such a tough question to answer? Why is it so hard to come up with an accurate number here? Well, first of all, we don't know how many planets there are. Some planets don't have any moons. Others have one. Others have several. And as we mentioned earlier, we only know of about 100 billion galaxies, though we think there could be twice that many. But even if we knew exactly how many planets were out there, the problem is you can't really see moons from very far away. And so it's really hard to know, how many planets have moons and how many moons they have. So these are estimates. They're educated guesses based on what we know. We have seen exomoons. By the way, exomoons are moons that orbit planets outside of our solar system. And we have confirmed the existence of at least 5 of them. So we know that moons exist elsewhere in the universe. And the reason why we're so interested in moons, by the way, is because if life exists on a planet, it's much more likely to exist on moons, at least in our solar system. All of the worlds that we know of that have life on them The Earth, Mars, Europa, Titan, and Enceladus. All but one of them are moons. The exception being Earth, and so we looking for moons because we think it is much more likely that we find life on moons than on planets. By the way, if you want to learn more about Saturn's moon Titan and why scientists think it has the best chance for harboring life in our solar system, check out our video called "Is There Life on Titan?" Also, if you want to learn more about worlds outside of our solar system, check out our video called "How Many Planets Are in the Universe?" where we discuss exoplanets in detail. So now you know there are probably a lot more stars in the universe than grains of sand on Earth's beaches. And there could be as many as 50 billion moons in our galaxy. But what about planets? How many planets are in the universe? Check out our video called "How Many Planets Are in the Universe" to learn more. And also, we'd love it if you subscribed to the channel. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers, which we think would be pretty cool. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do. We make new videos every single week about space, the universe, science, technology, and we think you might enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. If you want to learn more about the amazing stories behind some of the most famous and infamous scientists who ever lived, check out my podcast. There's a new episode every week, and you can listen on various platforms. Just search for the podcast. Also, I have a question for you. When you look up into the night sky, which do you find more fascinating, the stars or the planets? Let us know in the comments below.